Out of the major candidates we've all heard being mentioned for the Auburn job, which candidate, if any, can stand up to and, when necessary, push back against the strong booster culture on the Plains? And he threw some names in. Rain and Louder. That would be Jimmy Rain and Bobby Louder. From Columbus, Georgia, Trip is. Okay. There are a lot of stereotypes in college football. And one of the stereotypes around Auburn football is that they have a very, very toxic booster culture. I will admit to you, having also come from just north of Columbus, Georgia, having grown up near the program, having now multiple friends within the program, there are elements of that stereotype that have validity to them. Auburn's not the only program in America, by the way, that's had some booster issues from time to time. The fact is, you've got to have them. Find me the program out there that's operating with the kind of budget that these sorts of programs operate with, which requires deep pockets, which requires generous people to come forward and dig into those pockets and want nothing in return. It's not possible. It's not feasible. If people are writing you seven-figure checks, they're going to want a little say. The fine balance is, how do you give them a say? Like, how do you decide, okay, are you going to be happy with a box seat and a couple of bricks out here outside the stadium with your kids' names on them, and we'll name a gate after you, and we'll give you and 5 of your friends sideline access pregame for a couple of conference games this year? Is that good enough in exchange for your donation, or do you want to meet with the defensive coordinator on Thursday to go over the game plan? Because one of those things is okay, the other is not. Do you want to say so in who we hire as the AD? One of those is okay, one is not. At Auburn, yes, it is true that there are some big names around there that in some cases in the past have probably stepped over the line, a step or 3 or 5. But here's what I always do, and this is not aimed at Tripp or anyone specifically. I just want to ask generically. Think about your opinion of the Auburn football program. Just do me a favor. If you're driving around listening or if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to give you like 5 seconds. Think in your mind when I ask you, what is your opinion of Auburn football? In other words, what has been the biggest problem maybe around Auburn football? Jeopardy music. Okay. Dum, dum, dum. What is your answer? And chances are a lot of you are saying, oh, dude, they're boosters, man. Those boosters are out of control. Here's a little exercise for you. Name me the booster and give me the specific details. I would love specific examples that you're aware of, because you guys answered this question really quickly. I heard you. What are the specific examples? Who are the specific people? And what did they do specifically? Most of you don't have an answer for that. Now stop to think. Why did you so quickly give me a generic answer, but can't give me the specifics? Because if you ask me, what is your favorite food, and I say cheesecake, and you ask me why, I'm going to talk for 10 minutes and tell you exactly why. But I ask you, what's Auburn's problem? And you guys say boosters, and I say, who? What did they do? And a lot of you, not all of you, some of you may have specifics, but a lot of you say, just they're out of control. Yeah, what does that mean? Well, they just, they're too toxic. What does that mean? Well, you can't win with those folks. You're not giving me specifics. I'm trying to nail you to the wall, and you're the square of Jell-O that keeps falling down. A lot of this stuff gets overblown, is what I'm trying to tell you. Auburn does not have a program full of angels. Auburn does not have a booster class full of angels, nor does Alabama, nor does Georgia, nor does Florida. They all got these problems. Auburn has won a national championship in the last 15 years with those problems. Now, I know a lot of you could team up and write a book by 6 a.m. tomorrow describing how they won that championship in your mind, and would probably go down some of the same roads we just went down a second ago. My point is, sometimes, and this is going to be a bold claim, but I'm just going to ask you to follow me. What if I told you, sometimes things get said on Twitter, on message boards, on talk radio, and what you heard someone else say kind of catches your ear the way you want it to catch, and you say, I don't like Auburn. Sounds like they're toxic on the inside. I'm going to roll with that, is my opinion. Now, you don't necessarily have fact to back it up. You don't have details. If I were to take you in for questioning and hook you up to a polygraph machine, you wouldn't be able to pass with any specifics. You just want to believe it. A lot of you want to believe Auburn's corrupt, and sometimes Auburn does a lot to help you out. But in this specific case, They just hired a new AD. The question was, who is the right candidate to lead the Auburn program and deal with the booster culture? Well, the very generic fence-riding answer is whoever John Cohen decides it is. He's the new athletic director there. Now, the reason why I'm intentionally not getting specific is because I don't know John Cohen. Now, if you want to know whether some of these coaches are interested, yeah, I think Lane Kiffin's interested in the job. Yeah, I think Hugh Freeze is interested in the job. In fact, I have zero doubt about both of those statements. I don't know whether John Cohen is interested in them, is my point. But if he's truly being allowed to make this hire independently, well, let's go back to the question. What about those boosters? Now, this is an if. This is an if. We can't know what's going on behind the scenes there. But if he's being able and allowed to have autonomy in this hire, haven't we already made progress there? And certainly, as I've told you before, I think this job is sort of a sleeping giant. Right now, it's been a mess. But what it could be in the future, with the NIL reservoir they've got built up there, with the facilities they're about to open, with the fact that Nick Saban's not going to be at Bama forever, with the fact that that schedule, when they restructure this conference, could lighten up, or at least someone else's schedule could get as hard as Auburn's, could be very attractive in the transfer portal with the right coach. Auburn's going to be a really good job if you hire the right candidate, if your boosters are out of the way. I'm just saying sometimes you hear things about Auburn's boosters that's a little more fairy tale than reality. Now, here's the other side of that coin. Sometimes things go on inside that program that never see the light of day that would probably make these stories sound like fairy tales that you were able to tell your child. I understand all of that. What I'm saying is, if it truly is a new day there, a lot of this could be in the past. It's strictly up to Auburn. It's strictly up to them. And that's how the story has to end right now. Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure to leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.